On day 1, I was Spider-Man and I was being chased by the entire Spider Society. Loads of Spider-Men were using everything in their power to stop me. I tried to throw him off my tail, but every turn I made led me face to face with another Spider-Man. I knew that I didn't stand a chance against their numbers. I swang left and right and tried to slow them down with my web shooting abilities, but there were too many of them. Things got worse when out of nowhere, Miguel, the leader of the Spider Society, dropped down in front of me. He stopped me in my tracks with his webs, leaving me defenseless.
Finally, I will dispose of you once and for all!
Suddenly, a portal ripped open near me, and Miles Morales emerged. He jumped Miguel and landed a surprise attack that left him dazed.
Come with me, quick!
I freed myself from the web trap and followed Miles through the portal.
Everyone get them!
On day 2, Miles and I fled through the portal into another dimension that was made of Legos. Miguel and the rest of the Spider Society followed close behind. What do they want with us?
We're both anomalies. They want to eliminate us.
What? We navigated the dimension of plastic until spotting a bridge under construction over a massive hole. I have an idea. Miles and I booked it over the bridge and the Spider-Men followed us onto it. Unfortunately for them, they were too heavy and caused the whole build to crumble. The Spider-Men plummeted into the chasm below.
Not bad, but that won't hold them for long.
Miles opened another portal to make our escape, but Lego Spider-Man jumped out instead.
Ha-ha! Taste my Lego power!
The tiny hero uses building powers to create a wall at the speed of light. Luckily, Miles and I stayed on our toes and managed to clear the jump with our web swinging. Just as we made it to the portal, the massive Spider Rex came out in front of us.
Hold on tight.
Miles opened a new portal beneath our feet, causing us both to fall through into the unknown. On day 3, Miles and I landed in another dimension with a massive city. Where are we? Suddenly, a massive mecha dropped down in front of us. Inside was a girl controlling it.
Welcome to my dimension, Max and Miles. I'm coming for you.
Don't do this, Penny.
Sorry, you know I have to do this.
The mecha lunged at us and we had no choice but to fight. Penny started by using a stomping attack that caused debris from the ground to fly all around us. Miles and I did our best to evade her onslaught, but armed with her mech, Penny was a force to be reckoned with. Our spider punches did barely any damage to the mecha's sturdy armored body. Even with 2 Spider-Men against 1, this battle was tough. She used her powerful metallic fist to smash into us for loads of health. At this rate, we couldn't keep up much longer. Luckily, we had a trump card of our own. Miles had the ability to use electrical attacks which could fry the mecha circuits for good damage. I did my best to support Miles with my web shooting attacks while he went in close and zapped the robot as much as he could. We were neck and neck, but suddenly my body started to glitch out. Ah, what's happening?
You don't have a multiverse bracelet? This could be easier than I thought.
I'll meet up with you later. You need that bracelet or else you'll die.
Before I could protest, Miles pushed me into the portal, sending me to another dimension. On days 4 through 7, I fell through the portal inside of a strange room. When I looked around, I spotted the multiversal bracelet on a pedestal. That must be it! I walked up to it, when suddenly Miguel jumped down in front of me.
Stop right there.
What do you want with us?
You're both disrupting the timeline. I'm going to eliminate you or else everything we know will cease to exist.
Just then, Miles jumped up next to the bracelet.
Max, catch.
Miles tossed over the bracelet and opened up a portal.
Follow me.
He warped away, leaving me alone with Miguel. I now had a bracelet of my own in my possession, but there was one huge problem. How do I work this thing? Miguel attacked me as I fumbled with my new contraption. His fist really packed a punch, dealing significant damage to my health. I dodged as much as I could, but couldn't evade him fast enough to avoid his attacks. He threw his punches with such immense force and speed that I couldn't even react fast enough. It seemed like it was no use. I couldn't get the bracelet to work. Isn't there a manual for this thing? He was too powerful for me in my current state. I desperately tinkered with the bracelet until by some miracle a portal opened before me. I escaped the facility with only half a heart remaining. On days 8 through 10, I appeared in another dimension with Miles. The bracelet had worked successfully.
Glad you're okay for now, but we can't relax. Miguel has a tracking device on these bracelets.
What are we gonna do?
Let's make a base. That way we could be shielded from the tracking.
Miles and I quickly got to work on our own spider base. We wanted it to reflect our identities as Spider-Men, so we planned to make it shaped as a giant spider. We started with the main structure, which would be the body of the spider, and filled it with everything we would need for survival. It didn't look like much yet, but eventually it would have all 8 legs to fit all of the recruits we found. We were getting close to finishing when I spotted a portal opening in the distance. Oh no, Miguel is closing in. Hurry! We ran inside and watched as Miguel began to look around the area like a bloodhound.
Your tracking both went offline, but it doesn't matter. If you want to stop me, you have to recruit more than just one Spider-Man. I will find and eliminate both of you.
Miguel walked away, but suddenly my spider sense went off. I turned around and the Prowler was standing before us.
Hide!
Miles vanished into thin air with his invisibility powers and the Prowler lunged at me instead. On days 11 through 14, the Prowler slashed at me with his swift claws. The two of us clashed in hand-to-hand combat. I tried to punch him down with my fists, but whenever I got too close, the Prowler would land blows with his deadly claws for massive damage. I knew I couldn't run him blindly, so I tried to trap him in my webs to slow him down. This worked and let me land some solid hits, but he was far too powerful. Even with my nimble movements, I wasn't able to keep up with the Prowler. He had severely weakened me until suddenly Miles ran in front of me.
Please stop! Look, Uncle Aaron, it's me!
Miles, do it. Kill him.
To my surprise, the Prowler lowered his weapon, but in a matter of seconds, the sound of a gunshot rang through the area. The Prowler died before us.
No! Not again!
A large man in a black suit stepped forward. It was the villain Kingpin.
I'll do it myself.
Hey, we gotta go, Miles! We need more help!
Yeah, you're right. Let's go.
I used my bracelet to open up a new portal and fled through with Miles. Unfortunately for us, Kingpin ran close behind. On days 15 through 17, Miles and I emerged in another dimension with Kingpin close behind us. We were in the sprawling city of London. Miles was beginning to lag behind and Kingpin caught up. He smashed his fist into him, causing him to pass out. Miles! Hey, big guy, come and get me! Kingpin directed his attention towards me and I kept running. I had to keep him away from Miles. I ran until I was met with a dead end. Kingpin loomed over me with his massive fists. I thought I was surely done for. Suddenly, a punk rock Spider-Man jumped down in front of me.
Oi, don't just stand there. Let's kick this corporate loser's butt.
Kingpin smashed at us with his massive fists and dealt tons of damage whenever we tried to get up close. Spider-Punk and I realized we needed more footing to take this guy on, so we lured him out of the alley and continued to fight in the street. Kingpin jumped high in the air and smashed into both of us one by one. I tried to slow him down with my webs, while Spider-Punk strummed his guitar and sent shockwaves at him. Spider-Punk's music was so strong that it even sent someone as massive as Kingpin flying back. He tried to trip us up by punching the ground and sending debris flying at us, but we are more savvy than he thought. We dodged his attacks and continued to overwhelm him with our own. He would fall to the ground, but the man was like a tank. He always got back up and kept fighting. Although the two of us were getting tired, we knew we had to end this here. We kept up the attacks, doing everything we could to win. Thanks to the help of the Spider-Punk, we managed to defeat Kingpin once and for all. Whoa, you're super cool. Who are you?
Call me Hobie.
Just then, the chief officer came running towards us with their weapons out.
Get those delinquents!
Cops? Aren't you a hero?
I don't use labels. Let's move.
On days 18 through 21, the two of us were in a heated chase with the police. Every twist and turn we made, we were met with hordes of policemen. Eventually, there was nowhere else to run.
We have you surrounded. Surrender, Spider-Punk!
Look, we don't want any trouble.
I'll never surrender to the system.
Hobie shot all the cops down with his webs, trapping them in place.
Follow me. I know a shortcut.
I followed behind the Spider-Punk who led me to a manhole. The two of us hopped inside before the cops could find us. Wow, you're pretty resourceful. We could use a spider like you on our team.
I don't know.
Well, think about it for a bit. I looked around and realized we were inside of the sewer systems of the city. I thought surely we could avoid trouble down here, but the ground began to tremble. What's that?
Looks like the cops are filling the place with water. We gotta move now.
On days 22 through 25, Spider-Punk and I were running through the sewers trying to find a way out before the water swept us away. It seemed like every turn we made was a dead end. As we ran further and further, I saw a light in the distance. Look, there's an opening over there! Spider-Punk and I ran out of the sewer, narrowly avoiding being submerged by the rushing flood. That was close! When we thought we were safe, we turned around to see that a giant monstrous spider was looming behind us. What the heck is that thing? The spider monster began covering Spider-Punk in webs, making him unable to move.
You're on your own with this one, mate.
Nobody was here to help me this time, but I had to free Hobie. I went in close with my fists and started to beat down the beast in hand-to-hand combat. It was 8 legs against 2, but I was gonna take my chances. I punched at the beast while it retaliated with its poisonous pincers. Normally, I would try to trap it in webs, but it was a spider too. It had the ability to climb through webs like nothing, so I was forced to fight them head on. The spider began to spit different types of venom at me. I used my superhero agility and web swinging to try and avoid the attacks and went in close for damage whenever there was an opening. The beast was tough, and its poisonous attacks brought me down to my last heart. It was anyone's game. but I knew I had to protect Hobby no matter what. With that, I managed to stomp out the arachnid once and for all. I took the chance I had and freed Hobie from his web prison.
Alright kid, you got skills. I'll join your team. Oh, and take this.
Hobie handed me his guitar, and I gained 5 more hearts. Whoa, thanks. Suddenly, another portal opened up before us. Miguel had finally caught up.
I've got this one. Catch you later.
Hobie opened our own portal behind us, and I did what I was told. On days 26 through 28, I fell through a portal into a new dimension. Everything here was tinted pink and blue. Whose dimension could this be? Just then, my spider sense tingled. I could immediately tell that Miles was somewhere in this city. I swung around the city with my webs looking for any sign of Miles, but as I turned a corner, I saw a building completely on fire. Oh no! What happened here? My question was quickly answered when I spotted a giant lizard being fought off by this universe's Spider-Woman. Time to knock out some bad guys! I swung into action and began to help the other Spider-Woman take out the nasty lizard. He was a powerful warrior that dual-wielded 2 steel hammers. He swung his weapons at us and smashed into our super suits for massive damage. I knew he was a force to be reckoned with up close, but we knew our webs wouldn't do enough damage to pierce through his tough armor. We had to get in close with our fists if we wanted to stand a chance. We tried to beat him down with our super-powered punches while we dodged his heavy swings. Whenever we needed some distance, I would take out my new Spider-Punk guitar and give it a strum that sent him flying. The 2 of us were starting to get an edge when the lizard smashed his hammers into the ground, powering him up even more. We kept fighting the best we could, but it was anyone's game. After a long fight, Spider-Woman and I wiped out the lizard foe.
Hey, are you Max?
Yeah, that's me. How do you know my name?
I'm Gwen. Miles said you'd be here.
You know Miles? Can you take me to him?
Sure, follow me.
Gwen and I swung through the city until we got to an apartment where Miles was laying on the bed. Miles, you're okay!
Hey, Max, good to see you.
You guys caused Kingpin some trouble, I heard.
Yeah, me and Hobie took care of him. We gotta be more careful. More danger could be behind any door.
Spider-Man, in my apartment, you're all under arrest.
On days 29 through 32, Gwen's dad had mistaken us all for villains and was putting us under arrest. I knew there was no easy way out of this. I had no choice but to use Spider-Punk's guitar. I strummed a chord and the burst of sound sent the captain flying backwards. We have to go, now!
What about my dad?
I'm gonna get you, spiders. Ugh.
He'll be fine. I used my bracelet to open a portal, escaping through it with Miles and Gwen. When we got to the other side, we were back in my base.
Oi.
Hobie! I'm glad you're all right. Thanks for holding off Miguel for me. I knew Miguel would still be looking for us, so I decided to reinforce our base. I started by adding a farm so that we could have a consistent source of food for the team to snack on. Next, I added a room for Hobie to call his own. I made sure that bits and pieces of his hometown sprinkled around, along with some musical instruments for him to play when he's bored. Afterwards, I made a room for Gwen. I used lots of pink, white, and blue blocks to fit her vibe and added a drum set for her to rock out on. Lastly, I added legs to the base to make it look more like a spider and function as hallways to the underground rooms. With that, my expansion was complete.
Thanks, Max. But now's no time to relax. I know someone else that can help our team.
Let's go! Gwen opened another portal outside, and the 2 of us continued searching for more backup. On days 33 through 35, Gwen and I arrived in another dimension where we stood near the Taj Mahal. Is this India?
Kinda. Both should be around here somewhere. Let's split up and look.
Gwen and I went our separate ways, and I began to navigate the city around me. As I looked around, I spotted a massive monster fighting another Spider-Man. That must be the guy. I better help. I swung into the fray to help the guy out. The monster was nimble like us and was able to perform incredible acrobatics in combat. He was armed with a staff which he used to smash into us for massive damage. Luckily, we were fast too. We rushed in and punched into him whenever we could find an opening. He was 3 times our size, making it hard to deal enough damage, but we had the will to keep fighting. Suddenly, he unleashed a blazing fire breath attack that set both me and the other Spider-Man ablaze. My hearts were dwindling fast, but I couldn't give up. We continued our onslaught while the ape smashed his staff into the ground, sending a massive shockwave our way. We both endured the hit and cornered him right where we wanted. Between both of our punches, we were breaking through his armor and I could tell the beast was growing weak. With one final blow from the other Spider-Man, the monster went down, but so did he! No! I rushed to his side, only to discover that he was just sitting and relaxing. What the? Aren't you hurt?
Nah, being a Spider-Man is easy. I'm Pavitr. but you can call me Pav.
I'm Max. Nice hair, by the way. I explained to Pav my mission to recruit more Spider-Men to help stop Miguel. Luckily for me, he agreed. Suddenly, a portal opened beneath Pav, causing him to fall into the unknown, and Miguel jumped out in front of me. Oh no! He tracked us here! On days 36 through 39, I was being chased by Miguel. He was extremely fast, but so was I. I used my web-slinging abilities to send him in a high-speed chase. I tried to throw him off my tail, but he seemed to be waiting around every corner. Is my bracelet giving me away? I found a corner to hide in, but my spider sense went off. Ah! Just then, Gwen dropped down in front of me.
Don't worry, it's just me. I have an idea, but you're not gonna like it.
Gwen snatched my multi-dimensional bracelet and swung away. I watched as Miguel foolishly chased her instead, but now I was at risk of glitching to death. Unfortunately, I didn't have a moment to breathe. A new portal tore open in front of me, and Spider-Rex in an upgraded form emerged.
I finally found you.
What happened to you? You can talk now too?
The latest Spider Society tech has empowered me. Let me show you.
The Rex charged at me with his jaws open. I tried to evade his attacks, but he knelt down and bit me for big damage. If it wasn't for Hobie's guitar, I would have been swallowed whole. I went in close with my superpowered fist and fought the massive dino one-on-one. His thick scales and armor made it hard to deal much damage. On top of that, he was armed with incredible weapons. Spider-Rex unleashed a mighty roar that sent a huge wave of projectiles at me. I did my best to evade his moves and retaliate with my own. We were neck and neck, and I wasn't sure how much longer I would be able to hold on. I kept fighting and finally managed to overcome the beast. He dropped a razor web attack and I suddenly gained 5 hearts. Sitting around and glitching is a death sentence. I gotta get out of here. I looked around and spotted the Spider-Rex's portal was still open, but it was closing fast. I sprinted full speed into the portal just as it closed for good. On days 40 through 43, I fell through the other side of the portal to discover I had returned to the Spider Society. There, I was inside of a room full of trapped anomalies. I looked around and spotted Pav imprisoned in one of the cages. Coming, buddy! I broke him out and told him that we needed to find Gwen quickly. She was in trouble when I started to glitch out like crazy.
Whoa, slow down there. You need to find a new bracelet, otherwise you won't stay alive much longer. Come with me.
Pav and I kept our heads low and began to stealth around the spider-infested facility. We were keeping ourselves hidden when suddenly one of the guard's spidey senses went off.
Come here quick.
Pav and I shot our webs at a pillar and climbed upwards just in time before the spider guard found us. With them off our tail, we kept moving deeper, keeping our guards up high. Finally, we arrived at the room that held the bracelet, but a spider woman was waiting outside.
I've got this one. Keep going without me.
Pav walked out towards the woman and started to work his charm on her. I thought an idea like that surely wouldn't work, but to my surprise, it did just the trick. While she was distracted, I snuck past them and snagged the multi-dimensional bracelet for myself. Time to save Gwen! On days 44 through 46, I arrived back in Pav's dimension to find Gwen at the end of her rope. Gwen, are you okay?
I'm sorry, I couldn't defeat him. It's up to you, Max. Please take this.
Gwen handed me a pink and white sword just as Miguel came in close.
There you are. Are you going to keep running from me?
No way. You're going down now. I readied my new weapon and ran in towards Miguel. Little did I know that he had 2 blades of his own. The two of us slashed into each other with all of our might. It was spider versus spider in an epic battle unlike any other thus far. Miguel was quick on his feet, dealing crazy attacks with his dual blades. Each hit he managed to land on me expelled a massive amount of energy that sent me flying into the air. I used Hobie's guitar to blast Miguel off of me and gain some more space. Once he was far, I used my new razor webs to slash him down. He avoided the attacks the best he could, but I was chipping him down bit by bit. The two of us exchanged attacks, blocking and slashing into each other each chance we had. It was anyone's game. We charged in to land our finishing blows, but suddenly a black hole ripped open beneath both Miguel and I. We fell into the darkness below, unknowing of the horrors that would await us. On days 47 through 50, I woke up inside of a massive white void with Miguel. There stood a strange man covered in black dots.
Ah, you're finally awake, my nemesis.
Your what?
I used to be a normal person, like you. But because of the reckless actions you took as heroes, I've been reduced to this terrible form. I'm going to eliminate every last Spider-Man from all dimensions!
You fool! You're destroying the multiverse as we know it! This ends now!
Miguel charged in full speed at the villain only for them to teleport before he could land a hit. He unleashed a crazy attack that left Miguel unable to move.
My name's The Spot. Remember it.
Miguel! I couldn't leave him for dead, but the Spot came for me next. I took out Gwen's blade and began to slash at the villain. I used all of my strength and speed to try and catch him, but with his teleportation powers, he was too quick. I swing at nothing but air. I tried to pin him down with my webs, but he was too fast for those too. No matter what I did, I couldn't land a single hit. The Spot hit me with an attack so powerful it left me at half a heart.
Run, Max!
I swallowed my pride and did as I was told. I had to live another day if I hoped to save the rest of the multiverse. I opened a portal and rushed back to the base. On days 51 through 54, I returned back to my base to find black holes had opened up all over the place. The Spot is already attacking? I rushed inside to find that Gwen, Pav, and the other Spider-Man were all taking cover from the attack.
What's going on?
I explained to them about my encounter with the Spot, his unbeatable power, and how Miguel was in trouble.
I've got an idea.
Gwen ran outside of the base and set up some Spider Society equipment. She didn't have much time, but luckily she was able to stabilize the space and close up the holes.
I won't hold forever. You better make a plan.
Together, we discussed what we were gonna do next, and decided that the Spot was a bigger threat than Miguel. We would have to save him and put an end to the evil deeds of this new villain.
I think saving the guy that wants to kill you is a bit dumb.
We're heroes, and heroes help people. I'm sure he'll come around.
I already told ya, I don't use labels, mate.
Well, let's make an exception this time. In the meantime, I got to work on expanding the base for our new team member. I added a room for Pav that would remind him of home, including decor and colors that gave it that homey feel.
Wow, this is great, Max. Thanks a bunch.
I also added more red, blue, and cyan colors to my spider base to better represent my spider people. With that, my expansion was complete. Afterwards, I checked on Gwen, who was monitoring the Spider Society equipment.
These holes are going to reopen if you can't find me a quantum gem block for the machinery. Do you think you can find one for me?
You got it! On days 55 through 57, I began to search for the quantum gem that Gwen needed. Suddenly, my spider sense went off. I jumped back just as the black hole appeared in front of me. The Spot! Like clockwork, a horde of the Spot's goons appeared in the hole and charged towards me. They surrounded me with overwhelming numbers. I slowed them down by shooting my webs, making it easier for me to pick them off one by one. But they kept charging at me. They slashed with their shadowy claws, doing minimal damage. Unfortunately, my webs couldn't slow down the whole herd, so I flipped and dodged to keep my distance. I blasted them away with my guitar from Spider-Punk, using its powerful bass to blast them away. With them crowding me, I pulled out Gwen's sword and was able to slash most of the goons. As the pack was getting smaller, I gained more space to dwindle their numbers. Eventually, I managed to take out the swarm and took this opportunity to find more intel. I jumped through the black hole and braced myself. When I arrived on the other side, I found Miguel trapped inside of a cage.
Help! This cage is rigged with TNT. If you can't save me before the time runs out, it'll explode.
Just then, a massive warden dragon came out to face me. I've never seen a mob like that before. The Spot must be pulling mobs from other dimensions to attack me.
Intruders will die.
The Warden Dragon Goon charged at me, ready to take me out. My opponent circled around me fast and struck me when I couldn't defend myself. I had to use my spider senses to counterattack his strikes. I used Gwen's sword to slash him down when he came close enough to attack. Its hulking fists rained down on me with immense force, slowly draining my health, but I was able to recover quickly to deal the same damage right back at it. Miguel watched from the sidelines, not able to help, so it was up to me to take down this monster using every spider power I knew. I fought with all of my might, but the monster was proven to be too powerful. I was running out of time. Miguel would be killed if I didn't act fast. I have an idea! I used my web swinging to pass the beast and quickly free Miguel from his cage.
Get back here!
Miguel and I ran away as the monster tailed slowly behind. Unfortunately for him, the TNT went off, causing him to fall in the explosion behind us. Miguel, I don't have much time. Do you know where I can find a quantum gem?
I saw some just south of here.
I thanked Miguel and had him set off towards the base while I continued my quest for the quantum gem. I was running out of time, so I didn't have a moment to waste. On days 58 through 61, I followed the direction Miguel pointed me in to find a cave full of ore. In the wall, I spotted the quantum gem waiting for me. Time to get digging. I took out my pickaxe and started to dig. However, just as I finished mining it from the wall, the gem shocked me. Ow! What a weird rock! Little did I know, I had started something terrible. My bracelet started to beep wildly until it abruptly stopped, and tons of portals opened all around me. Oh no, I think my bracelet is broken. Not knowing Knowing where the portals lead, I opened another portal for myself to take me back home. I arrived back just in the nick of time and handed the quantum gem over to Gwen.
We got here just in time. Great job.
Suddenly, my bracelet began to beat rapidly once again. It was on the fritz. Uh-oh. I couldn't control my bracelet anymore. I was teleported away to an unknown location. On days 62 through 64, I appeared inside some sort of western dimension. I tried to use my bracelet to head home, but it wasn't working anymore. I need to find a new bracelet, quick! I looked around and spotted a web-slinger on his horse. I decided it was worth a shot asking him, "Hey, fellow Spider-Man? You wouldn't happen to have a multiversal bracelet I could use, would ya?"
You think you can just ask me for my bracelet after running away earlier?
Yes?
I'll only give you my bracelet if you can beat me in a standoff.
You're on! The two of us stood in an open area with our weapons ready. I waited in bated breath as he began to count down.
3, 2, 1. Draw!
We drew our web shooters and I fired mine first, winning me the standoff. Unfortunately, the rogue web spooked his beloved horse companion. The horse trotted off towards who knows where.
Hey, you scared my horse. Say bye to your prize.
What? But I won!
Nuh-uh, not without my horse you didn't. Bring her back now.
I was out of options, so I quickly ran and began to chase the horse as my only hope for the bracelet. I finally caught up with her as night fell, only to find that the horse was being attacked by a group of zombies. I couldn't let anything happen to the horse. I swung in and duked it out with the monsters. I had faced a lot of difficult foes up to this point, and I couldn't let a horde of zombies stop me. I used everything I had to take out each one by one. It seemed like the horde was never ending. For each one I killed, 2 more would arrive. I punched and sliced through their rotten flesh and pushed through their onslaught of attacks. The battle was tough, but I managed to save the horse from the swarm. Just then, Webslinger caught up to me.
I saw what you did for my girl. You're worthy of my bracelet.
He handed over the bracelet like we agreed, and I prepared to portal back to the base. On days 65 through 68, I arrived at the base where Miguel was waiting for me. Still think I'm a bad guy?
Thank you, and sorry for the trouble I've been causing. The spot is our main issue now, so let's work together.
You got yourself a deal! With Miguel now my ally, I decided to expand the base a bit more. I started by making a lab for researching and creating more multiverse tech. We now had access to all the tools Miguel had to offer. After that, I added an underground room for Miguel that was full of all kinds of gadgets he could use to watch over the multiverse. Finally, I added a meeting room for all the spiders on my team to discuss plans on how we can defeat our new enemy, Spot. With that, my expansion was completed. It's meeting time! I gathered my whole team together and we sat around ready to listen to Miguel's briefing.
First, I'd like to say sorry for almost killing all of you. I'm a good guy, I promise.
Whatever, mate. It's in the past. Tell us how we're gonna beat this Dalmatian guy.
The Spot's black holes are already appearing all over the multiverse. Our best course of action will be to stop these disturbances and gather more Spider-Men for the team.
Everyone agreed with Miguel, and he told me the coordinates of the first multiverse disturbance.
Be careful. The Spot is stronger than anything any of us have faced before.
I didn't have a moment to waste. I hopped into the portal and went to my first destination, unaware of the horrors that awaited me. On days 69 through 72, I arrived inside of a cartoony dimension. Everything looked like a 2D drawing, but something was horribly wrong. It was full of black holes. In the distance, I spotted a giant hamburger monster crawling out one of the openings.
Oh no, you don't.
Out of nowhere, a spider pig jumped into the fray. That could be a new teammate. I better help. I followed after the pig and began to battle it out with a massive burger. Although it was just a sentient piece of meat, its giant size protected it from a variety of my attacks. I tried to blast the burger off of me using Hobie's guitar, but the monster continued to fight me like it was nothing. I would have to take it on up close whether I liked it or not. I took out Gwen's blade and began to slice down the burger to size. Meanwhile, Spider-Ham tried to plant the monster in place with his webs. It was a difficult battle, but between the two of us, we gradually gained the upper hand. Without our forces combined, me and Spider-Ham managed to take down the oversized sandwich.
Thanks. Which Spider-Man are you again?
I'm Max.
Yeah, I never heard of you.
Suddenly, we heard a loud roar coming from behind us. We turned around and realized tons of burgers had emerged from the black holes. There were too many for us to take on alone. We have to run! On days 73 through 75, Spider-Ham and I fled back to the base to take refuge.
My home. It's being destroyed, and I can't do anything to stop it.
I'm sorry. We'll definitely go back. I just need time to make a better plan. Just then, Miles walked up to us.
I think I can help you out. Come with me, Max.
I followed Miles until the two of us arrived at a training ground. The place looked intense, and dark clouds were beginning to gather in the sky. The weather doesn't look good. Are you sure it's okay to be out here?
Definitely. Now, let's get started. Put this on.
Miles tossed over some iron armor. What? That'll attract the lightning to me!
Exactly. Trust me.
I thought Miles might have gone crazy, but I did what he said anyways. Once I was fully equipped with armor, thunder began to strike in the distance. I have a bad feeling about this. Just like I had predicted, lightning came down from the sky and zapped me hard. I was left with low health, but I had gained 5 more hearts and a new electric ability. Whoa, that actually worked! Thanks, Miles!
No problem. Oh, and for the finishing touches...
I removed my iron armor as Miles took out a can of spray paint. He began to spray my suit with a brand new palette to give myself my very own Spider-Man identity. My suit was now a signature orange and purple. Time to save Spider-Ham's home. On days 76 through 79, I returned with Spider-Ham to his dimension to find it festering with burger monsters. Unfortunately for them, with my new lighting powers, I was ready now for anything. It's lunchtime! We engaged in combat with the army of burgers. They were just as insanely powerful as the first monster, but now I was up against an army. Luckily, my training had made me much stronger. Thanks to my new hearts, I was able to take more attacks while dishing out damage of my own. The horde of monsters all tried to devour me, but I used my new electric venom to zap them off of me. I honed in my strength and electrocuted the army en masse. The burgers fried and fell one by one. Thanks to my training with Miles, I was able to take down every last one of the intruders. With the burgers now defeated, the black holes closed up.
Thank you so much for saving my home. Take this as a gift.
Spider-Ham tossed over a cartoonish hammer.
Consider me an ally.
Thanks, Ham! Before we could celebrate, the horrible Spot appeared out of nowhere.
You think that charade is enough to defeat me? Come on, take this!
Spot teleported into the fray, but Spider-Ham started to fight him off. When he had a chance, he ripped open a new portal for me.
I'll hold him off. Go through this portal and meet my friend. He should be able to help you.
I did as I was told and fell through the portal into an unknown dimension. On days 80 through 83, I arrived inside of a black and white dimension. In front of me was loads of police tape. I was at the scene of a murder. What happened here?
Just who are you, fella?
Out of the shadows, a Spider-Man in a black suit emerged before me. He quickly shot me down with his webs, making me unable to move. Uh-oh. Before I knew it, he had me sitting with him inside of an interrogation room.
I'm Spider Noir, private detective. I'll ask again. Who are you?
I'm Max?
Wrong answer. Tell me why you were at the scene of the crime.
It's a long story.
Actually, save your breath. I know why you were there. You're the killer.
What? No! I'm a Spider-Man like you! I'd never kill anyone innocent!
I don't believe you. You bought a cheap costume so you could trick me. I'm ending this now.
Things were going south quickly, but I suddenly remembered I had something to prove my innocence. I put the hammer Spider-Ham gave me on the table. Your friend Spider-Ham gave me this. You have to believe me.
That is definitely his hammer. You could tell by the cartoony shape of it. You're right. I'm sorry. But if it wasn't you, then who was responsible for the murder?
Suddenly, we spotted someone run by the window.
After them! Now!
On days 84 through 86, Noir and I pursued the mysterious suspect. They were quick on their feet, and something told me they weren't your typical civilian. Regardless, we were ready to take on whoever it was. Noir and I cornered the villain, only to discover it was none other than Venom.
What's this to Spider-Man?
That's right. Now tell us, were you responsible for the murder scene?
That was just the leftovers of our dinner. But now it's time for dessert.
Venom charged at us, ready to make us his latest meal. He smashed his massive fist into the ground and caused the concrete to fly around us. I knew that even though both Noir and myself were fighting him, he still had enough strength to take us both down if we weren't careful. He hit us one after the other with his powerful attacks, and there wasn't enough space to evade in the alleyway. I lured the symbiote out towards the main street to give us more footing, and continued fighting in the open. I shot him down with my webs to try and keep him from running and used all of my powers to deal loads of damage. He would break free from our web traps, but Noir and I kept doing everything we could to hold him down. The battle was tough, but we were slowly getting an edge. Between the power of Noir and I, we managed to take out the oversized symbiote. Upon his death, he dropped the mysterious letter. I've almost retrieved the void gem that the Spot asked me to find. Once I get it, his plans will be completed and all Spider-Men will be eliminated from the multiverse. This is horrible! We have to find that void gem before the Spot can!
This sounds serious. Let me help you in your fight to take this guy down.
We'd be happy to have you. Noir officially joined my team, and the two of us hurried back to the base to fill in the other Spideys. On days 87 through 89, I returned to the base and called a meeting with all of our team members. To my surprise, Spider-Ham was there too. You made it back safe!
Don't underestimate me. That Spot guy got away though. We have to do something.
Yeah, about that. I quickly filled in the team on the letter that Noir and I discovered and the Spot's plans to eliminate all Spider-Men with the use of a void gem.
Did you say void gem? The artifact is incredibly powerful. We have to find it first.
Any ideas?
With all of the gear at this base, I'm sure I can find it, but I'll need some time.
You got it! Since I had to wait, I started to work on an expansion for the Spider base. I made a room for Spider-Ham, being sure to add plenty of cartoony elements to make the little guy feel at home. Finally, I made a room for Spider-Noir completely out of black and white blocks. It was like he was in his own dimension. Once I finished the room, my expansion was complete. Time to check on Miguel. I returned to Miguel's room and asked him for a status update.
I'm still working on finding it, but I did notice another disturbance. Could you handle that in the meantime?
You got it! On days 90 through 92, I arrived in the dimension that Miguel asked me to investigate to find a city in ruin. After some investigating, I discovered that it was being destroyed by none other than Carnage Max. Wait, aren't you me? It's kind of a long story. Could you stop doing that, bud? Yeah, sure. As long as whoever's watching subscribes to the channel. Thanks, man. My Carnage counterpart stopped its attack, so I portaled back to the base to see if the preparations were finally complete. On days 93 through 95, I returned to the base and reported back to the team.
How was the mission?
It was kinda weird, but I figured it out. Suddenly, I heard a loud strum of a guitar that caused the whole base to tremble. What was that? I rushed to the source of the music to find Hobie shredding away on his guitar. It was amplified stronger than anything I had heard before. Once he spotted me in his room, he stopped playing so we could chat. That was incredible! How'd you do that?
Oh, it was a little trick I picked up. Let me show ya.
I practiced my guitar skills with Hobie, and after a while, my guitar skills grew even stronger than before. Whoa! This'll definitely help us take out the Spot. Thanks! Just then, Miguel entered the room.
I finally have the coordinates of the void gem, but be careful. It's in a dimension unlike anything I've ever heard of before.
I'm up for the challenge! I gathered all of my strength and set off towards the unknown dimension. I had a sinking feeling that my hardest challenge was just ahead. On days 96 through 98, I arrived at the dimension to find that it was a massive dark void. Nothing was around me. It was completely lifeless. What kind of place is this?
You shouldn't be here.
I turned towards the source of the sound to find another Prowler had emerged from the darkness. Another Prowler? What's going on?
Let's make this quick.
Suddenly, the Prowler pounced onto me with tremendous force. He used his sharp claws to slice my health down little by little. I retaliated with every weapon I held in my arsenal. Utilizing my guitar, I sent shockwaves in the Prowler's direction, but he wasn't stopping. He continued forward, stepping past some of my attacks. I bombarded him with my electric venom, shocking every bone in his body. Nothing I was using was working. He saw past every move I made like he knew what I was gonna do next. I had no choice but to pull out all the stops, even trying hand-to-hand combat. But with his deadly claws at the ready, that wasn't looking like a great idea. He even managed to deal the brunt force of Spider-Man's hammer. He was too strong. I fought with all of my might, but the Prowler managed to knock me down to very low health.
This is the end for you.
On day 99, I was at death's door when another portal ripped open before me. To my surprise, Miles jumped through.
I'm here, Max. Wait, Uncle Aaron? No. I'm your worst nightmare.
The Prowler changed his suit, revealing that he wasn't who we thought he was. He was Miles from another dimension.
Let's see who the stronger Miles Morales is.
He turned his sights on my ally and the two began to fight. It was good Miles versus his evil counterpart. The Prowler was armed with his clawed gloves, but Miles only had fists. The fight looked like it was gonna be one-sided, but I could tell that Miles had the resolve to push through. He punched through the Prowler as fast as lightning and electrified him with his electric venom. The Prowler was fast and managed to dodge some of his attacks, but he couldn't escape all of them. Unfortunately, he was able to dig his claws into Miles too for massive damage. The two went back and forth, neither side giving in. It looked like either of them could fall at any moment. Even so, Miles kept fighting with all of his might. The battle was fierce, but in the end, my Miles managed to pull through. He overpowered the Prowler and took him down once and for all. Miles, are you okay?
Yeah, but I can't move on with you. Take this. Get the Void Gem. You're our last hope.
Miles handed me the potion of healing, which would turn me back to full health. Thanks to him, I was able to keep moving deeper into the void. I had to end this before it was too late. On day 100, I walked deeper into the void until I finally spotted the Void Gem on a pedestal. There it is! Suddenly, the spot appeared out of nowhere in front of the pedestal.
Shame that my minions couldn't stop you. Would have been easier for you to die that way. But I guess it was always meant to be this way. Looks like I'll have to take this on myself.
Out of my way! You're not getting that! It was now or never. I had to take down the spot before he could complete his master plan. Just like our previous encounter, he was able to teleport around rapidly, making it hard to get a hit on him. All the while, he would get in close and punch me for heavy damage. I tried to use my webs to pin him into place, but he managed to teleport out of my traps before I could land any real damage. He was faster and more fierce than anyone else I had faced this far, but I didn't get all the way here just to fail. I used my Spidey sense to predict the spot's movements and finally managed to land attacks back. I had a wide arsenal of weapons to use on him now. I cycled between Hobie's guitar, Gwen's blade, Miles' electric venom, and Ham's hammer to deal damage into my foe. We went back and forth, trading hit after hit. I was getting closer and closer to defeat, but I could tell the spot was getting weaker too. I held on for the fate of the multiverse and all of my spider friends I'd made along the way. I mustered up all of my strength and landed one final blow. The spot fell to my power and I took him down once and for all. I did it!